We are back, people. Yes, back in nature, enjoying life like always, enjoying the sun, the blue skies, breathing in the wonderful air. Yes, people. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. But today we're going to talk about setting up healthy boundaries and the ego death. And we're going to talk about what that's all about, because these two subjects align with each other beautifully. Well, we're going to start with setting up healthy boundaries. And that begins with setting up healthy boundaries towards yourself. And what does that mean? A key word in setting up healthy boundaries towards yourself is respect. Having self-respect. And you gotta start really looking objectively towards yourself. Are there things you do towards yourself that don't serve you? Are you trash talking towards yourself? Are you being verbally abusive towards yourself? Are you eating healthy? Are there addictions that you maybe have, like smoking, using drugs? And it all starts with loving yourself, having self-respect, and asking yourself, are there things that you do towards yourself that don't serve you? And that means you gotta set up healthy boundaries for yourself. Really say, listen, this thing I'm doing is not serving me. It's not helping me. And you gotta start with respecting yourself, being compassionate and kind towards yourself. But that also means being forgiving towards yourself. Let's say you've done something in the past that wasn't the best decision. And you need to start forgiving yourself. Say, hey, now I know better. And what does that mean? Start being forgiving towards yourself. Hey, this and this happened. It wasn't the best decision, but now I'm gonna forgive myself. Now I know better. Now I've learned. Start forgiving yourself, being compassionate towards it. Hey man, now I know better. Being kind towards yourself, eating healthy, stopping with these addictions, start having self-respect. But you really gotta look objectively towards yourself. Are there things you do towards yourself that don't serve you? And you gotta set up healthy boundaries for yourself. And now we're gonna talk about setting up healthy boundaries towards outer sources. And what does that mean? In this journey in life itself, people can start to trigger you. And you gotta set up healthy boundaries. You gotta say, ho. You gotta put your foot down and say, ho, no more. Because we talked in other videos, is that people that are hurt other people. So that means that they are in an energy where it's negative and they are hurt and they see you, and when they hurt themselves, they hurt other people. And a lot of the times they do this unconsciously. And the only thing you can be is compassionate and loving, because you got to see it from a bigger perspective, that a lot of the times people hurt people unconsciously, and seeing it that hurt people hurt other people. But that also means when you're compassionate, see it from their point of view. I've been in a lot of situations where people told me that they missed the bus and they didn't came at their work at the right time. So the boss yelled at them, or they got suspended by their job, or something else bad happened. And there was a situation when they saw me and I did something and they lashed out. So this chain reaction of things happened in their life, and me being the catalyst for getting them angry, it wasn't my fault, but the things that happened that day. And when you're compassionate and ask them, hey, listen, what happened? Seeing that from their point of view. But when you're setting up healthy boundaries towards outer sources, that also means that you gotta verbally communicate your own feelings. Say, hey, listen, the thing that you're doing isn't pleasant. I don't like it. So you also need to verbally communicate your feelings. And you gotta be, hey, listen, this and this happened. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? You gotta be diplomatic. That's the key. Being diplomatic and finding a middle ground between yourself and the other person. Being diplomatic. But now we're gonna talk about setting up healthy boundaries when it comes to your divine masculine. A lot of the times when it comes to your divine masculine, being diplomatic can be the way. But you find out in this journey that you gotta be more than diplomatic. You gotta step it up. Yes, you gotta step it up. That means that a lot of the times when you say consciously towards yourself, listen, I'm consciously making this decision to let my divine masculine go, to give them the space they need to work things out. And a lot of the times when you move out of their space and really pull away your energy, your divine masculine gets agitated. Yes, they get agitated. That means that they'll suddenly have an epiphany saying, hey, where's my divine feminine hanging out? And because you're not giving them the time, you're not giving your energy, they get agitated. And along the way, they don't only get agitated, they get angry. They say, hey, where are you at? Because your divine masculine wants to control you. They want to maybe manipulate you, play mind games. Because when you say conscious, when you as a divine family consciously say, no, I'm putting my foot down. I ain't taking this no more. That means that you're having self-respect. That means that you're saying, hey, I'm not taking this no more. I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna pull away my energy. I'm not giving you the time anymore. I'm gonna live my life on my terms. I'm gonna do the things I want. I'm gonna make a plan for the future. You consciously say to yourself, I'm pulling away this energy. So your divine masculine gets agitated to the point where they get angry. And they try to trigger you over and over. See it so. When a dog gets wounded, like wounded, they lash out. Yes, when a dog gets wounded, it lashes out. And your divine masculine is like a wounded dog. Yes, they are like a wounded dog. That means that they'll lash out and they'll try to hurt you like really, really bad. And you know what your power move is in this situation? You know what your power move is? Not giving them the time, not giving your energy, and just being silent. Silent, yes. I'll give you an example about my personal journey. And you can relate to this. I've had a lot of times when my divine masculine really broke my heart. And you can relate, like I said. And the next time they come back and they hurt your heart even more. But me not giving them the time, saying, okay, I'm gonna go on with my life. Your divine masculine or my divine masculines got angry. They got angry so bad. My divine masculine got so mad that even people in my surroundings came up to me and said, wow, what is going on between you and this person? And my divine masculine, of course. They were so afraid that they were afraid for me. They were afraid for me. That's how mad my divine masculine got. Or that's how bad my divine masculine wanted to trigger me, because they are like a wounded dog. And they lash out like really bad. And you know what my power move is? Just saying nothing and walking away. That was my power move. Just saying nothing and walking away. You're not giving them the time. You're not giving your energy. And the only way your divine masculine can react back, if you give them the time, if you give them the energy. But if you give nothing, if you just go blank and go on with your life, they've got no energy to feed on, because you got to see it so. The only way your divine masculine gets fed, if you give them energy, and especially negative energy, because the ego is fed by negative energy. And the only way the ego can react is if you give them energy. And when you go blank, you just say nothing, like you're not even going towards them, because that was my situation. I could have been mad and go up to her and say, hey, this and this, what's up? I didn't even go up to her. I just went blank and you know what the thing I thought to myself? Hey, because it was Friday, it was weekend, I was like, hey, tomorrow's weekend, I'm gonna go on a road trip, I'm gonna live my life, and I'm gonna focus on that. That's my focus. I went blank and I just celebrated my weekend. I didn't even go up to her or said something to her. That's gonna be a power move. And like I said, a lot of times you can be diplomatic. But when they really lash out, or really get angry, like the example I talked about, just go blank and just walk away and go on with your life. Just go blank. That's gonna be a power move. Because now we're gonna talk about the ego death. Because when you give them none of your energy, talking about the power move you can make, that's when the ego death occurs. That's when the ego death occurs. Because when you give none of your energy, like nothing, you know what happens with your divine masculine? They'll start thinking. They'll start thinking, wow. They'll start realizing that they made the biggest mistake they ever made. Because the only thing that they're doing is pushing you away. They're pushing you away. Because they'll realize that the more angry they get, the further you go away. That's what they'll start realizing. The more they get angry at you and you just being blank, like, okay, and you walk away and go on with your life, follow your purpose, living the best life of your life, they'll certainly be like, wow, I'm only pushing this person away. Because that's what they'll realize. Because you're not giving them the time. And that's when the ego death occurs. And they'll start thinking, wow, I'm making all these decisions, and the only thing that's happening is that I'm hurting this other person, and at the same time I'm hurting myself, because they can lash out at you like a wounded dog, but they still love you. But a lot of the times it doesn't seem that way. They can come over as heartless, but they do care about you. But when they do these things, they push you away and you go further away. And they'll realize that, thinking to themselves, wow, does this person even still want me? And they think to themselves, no, of course not. Because you're walking away. Because you're walking away, they think to themselves, wow, this person doesn't want me anymore. Because when you give them the time, when you give them the time and give their energy to you, when you give your energy to them, they can be in this player state of mentality. They say, every time I want something from him, he gives me things. He gives me presents. He gives me attention. So every time they need attention from you, they go over and you give them attention. You give them their energy. They trigger you. But if you give nothing, they go, wow, this person doesn't want me anymore. And they get scared. And they are scared. They say, wow, this person doesn't want me anymore. Maybe I need to change something in my own life. And that's when the ego death occurs. They start using their mind properly. They start using their mind properly. They think, wow, I need to make some changes, because the things I'm doing, I'm triggering this person, ain't serving me. It's just pushing him more away. And that's when the ego death occurs. Because the ego is a stubborn thing. Yes, people. But ego death also occurs with you. And I'm gonna make an example. Because every time you give them energy and you think to yourself, hey, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back. But you gotta realize that they hurt you for a reason. And I'm gonna tell you why. It sounds awful, and it is awful, because being hurt is not pleasant. But the reason they hurt you, the reason your divine masculine hurts you, is because they're trying to teach you something about yourself. That means that you're gonna get hurt so much in this journey that you'll suddenly have this epiphany, realizing, saying, hey, listen, maybe I need to take a step back. Because as long as you give them energy, they'll take it from you. But they'll hurt you so much in this journey, divine masculine, that you'll suddenly have an epiphany and say, hey, listen, maybe I need to take a step back. And that's when the ego death occurs within you. That's when the ego death occurs within you, because your ego wants you to go over to your divine masculine. Your ego wants to make the decision like, hey, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, your divine masculine comes back. That's the ego. That's fear. That's doubt. That is fear, that is doubt. And your ego tries to make solutions of getting your divine masculine back. But if you get hurt so much, you'll suddenly have that epiphany, I gotta let my divine masculine go. And now I'm gonna let my divine masculine go for real. I'm just gonna let them be. I'm not giving them energy anymore. That's when the ego death occurs within you. So that's why it's so important to make that power move, to just say nothing to your divine masculine. Even if they try to hurt you like really bad, just go blank and go about your life. Because that's when the ego death occurs within them. Because in this journey, ego death is key. ego death is key, because the more the ego dissipates, the more space it creates for love and unconditional love. Yes, people. The more the ego dissipates, the more ego death occurs within you, the more ego death occurs within your divine masculine, the more space is created within you to create love and unconditional love. So that's what it's all about. Setting up healthy boundaries and eventually creating ego death within you and your divine masculine. That's what it's all about, people. Nothing but love in nature, enjoying life, breathing in that wonderful air. I wish you a good day. I wish you a good journey wherever you are, who's ever watching this video. I'll see you soon. Peace.